Alrighty, in this video, we're going to be speaking about how to use email to increase your revenue by anywhere from as low as like 25 up to like 50% or even more in some cases, just by sending out an email and setting up some automated flows, right? And the reason why this is so important is if you're using advertising to acquire customers, it may cost you $10, $20, $30 to get a new customer, and they spend maybe $80 or $100 with you. So you're tripling on cash, but really after food costs, after everything else, there's still not enough profit left over. So it's really in your best interest to maximize customer lifetime value. And the way you maximize it is by getting them to either spend more with you, so increasing our average order value by upsells, cross sells, down sells, or increase the frequency that they purchase at, so making them buy more often. In this video, we're going to be speaking about how do we get customers to buy more often and how to keep your brand top of mind. There's a lot of perks to this. We've also noticed that customers that purchase at least 6 times from a meal prep business, they're more likely to purchase another 6 times. There is an inflection point where essentially once the customer is used to your meal prep, they're less likely to even try other meal preps or, just, not buy from you because of cost. They're just more loyal to you. So you really want to get to that point where they purchase at least 4 to 6 times from you. And after that, it becomes a little bit easier. So let's actually look at some tactical campaigns and show you guys how we send out these emails. So this is a small business that we're working with. In the last 29 or 30 days, they've generated about 19,000 just shy of in revenue. And really the point that I'm trying to drive home here today is that 38% of their revenue has been from just email. So without email, they would lose almost 40% of their revenue, which is a lot of their profit. Okay. So we've got two sort of email campaigns. We've got campaigns. These are campaigns that we send weekly to remind customers about the new stuff that we have. So for example, we sent out recently Wednesday, May 29th, it got a 28.31% open rate, a 10% click rate, and then it generated about $1,600 in sales. Each email, as you can see, varies in the revenue that it produces, but you're producing multiple four figures sometimes in revenue on an email list that's not that big with a company that's not doing that much revenue. So if you've got an even bigger email list, obviously your numbers will be more. If you've got even a small list, maybe like 50 people or 10 people, it's best that you start emailing them now. So this is, for example, an email that we ran for this particular company. Let's check it out. Let's let it load. Your midweek pick me up, right? So, and then it's get $20 off, meals like Mama's, quick and efficient delivery, etc. And then we just have one banner. What we found is that if you have one banner, or like one image with all the text in it, just doesn't have a lot of graphics. It's just all one big graphic. You're going to get better deliverability because it's going to go less likely into spam because there's just not a lot of links. There's not a lot of text. There's not a lot of different graphics, which is where Gmail or Outlook or whatever the recipient's provider is may mark it as spam. So this helps with deliverability. And obviously if people click on it, it's going to take them to the product listing. That's the other thing. You want to get it to the product listing, and the product listing needs to be lined up with whatever the offer is. So get $20 off, says there, and then it says $20 off code has already been activated because it's already been minus there, right? So we make it super easy for people to order. Obviously, that's part of the email doing well. But that's basically an email series. Every time we send out an email, it's typically when we're changing the menu or we've got a special offer. Okay. Other than that, we've got some automated flows. These are pretty cool as well, like customer win back, for example. So this is every time somebody places an order, they get an email 2 days later or whatever it may be. So customer win back email number 1 after 6 days. So they've probably consumed all of the meals that they placed and they got it delivered. So usually it takes a day or two for the delivery to go out. And then 6 days later, they get another email that says, hey, here are the meals for you this week. This is a good this is a good subject line because the customer is like, what do you mean these are the meals for me this week? I didn't place another order, right? But it works pretty well because then they're like, oh, I'm curious. And then this generated an extra $30,000 in revenue for this business. Just one email that probably took us 10 minutes to set up, and it's been generating that revenue. And then every 6 days, they get another email. This one generated another nearly $9,000 in sales. So just this flow alone between these first two emails has generated nearly $40,000 for this business in just the last 365 days that they wouldn't have gotten if they didn't have this set up. So it's extremely important to have flows like this set up. Abandoned checkout's really good as well. VIP invite, welcome series. Welcome series is really cornerstone as well. This is something you should have, is if somebody goes onto your website and they just subscribe to a newsletter, but they do not purchase anything, we do want to email them every so often to get them to make their first purchase, right? They've shown some sort of interest. We want to get it to them. So what meals would you like to get delivered tomorrow? Going straight for the offer. If they don't buy, we wait another day. And then we tell them a little bit more about our story. So how it all began and why, telling them a little bit about the brand, a little bit about the chef, using that personal branding element to increase trust, and then lower the skepticism, tell them a little bit more about the story. And that way they can convert. Because if they haven't converted already, there's something in their mind that's stopping them from pulling the trigger and swiping their credit card. And then we go with even more hooky subject lines. Why do people hate our meals? If you actually read this email, it's literally about, hey, our meals are not for everyone, but they are for this particular avatar. So the person that's reading the email, which we already know them inside out because we've specifically targeted them, they're like, wow, these meals are really made for me specifically, and it's not for these other people. In your funnel, by creating tension or by creating resistance for people that are not really your customer, you make your customers feel more special, essentially. So if you're an outcome-based meal prep and you help people lose weight, hey, it's not for people that are not looking to follow a specific diet and be committed. I mean, that's going to make somebody that is committed being like, oh, this is for me. Or similarly, for a cultural meal prep and you do, let's say, Indian meals, this is not for people that do not like spicy food, for example. And they're like, oh, I do like spicy food, so that means it is for me. So you want to almost indirectly tell the prospect that this is for them by showing them who it's not for. It helps a ton, and it makes your marketing a little bit more savvy and just less marketing and salesy overall. So those are some campaigns. Those are some flows that we've got set up. If you'd like the templates, please comment template, and then we'd be happy to give you some of our campaign templates and some of our customer win back and welcome series templates. So you can literally just copy and paste it into your business. We use Klaviyo for this automation, but you can use anything. You can use MailChimp, Klaviyo. There's a ton of other ones. There's ActiveCampaign as well. That's really good. But you really want to track your metrics. You want to optimize for your subject line. I would say that's the most important, your subject line, because that entails how many people actually open the email. And then secondly, I would say obviously your messaging in the email is important, but your offer needs to be really, really strong. You're always going to be constantly fighting an uphill battle of getting more creative offers because your offers are going to fatigue. If you keep offering the same thing to the same email list, they're just not going to respond to it eventually. So you really want to brainstorm the different kinds of offers you can do. But otherwise, email is free money. If you're not sending emails to your list or you're not collecting emails, you're just losing money. Emails in our business have helped us a lot. They generate about 30-40% of our revenue personally. You probably are watching this video because you got an email or maybe you're just browsing on our YouTube channel, but hopefully that's of help. And you really need to maximize your LTV because ad spend and media buying is just going to get more and more expensive. Facebook, Instagram, Google, all these channels, even TikTok, are getting more advertisers on their platform, but they're not growing in users as fast as they are growing in advertising. So the cost per impression, the cost per eyeball is only going to go up exponentially over the years. So you can only lower your cost per purchase so much, but you can really pull that lever of LTV. That's infinite. You could really, if you're really, really good, you can hypothetically make unlimited amounts of money per customer, right? So hopefully you found that useful. Please comment template if you'd want some of the templates. Please subscribe and like if you find this information useful.